Shalom to the elect of Israel, to you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up the hope for the elect. Shalom to the Akwa for listening and learning. This is a part 2 because I already had made the first lesson long enough. So this is a part 2 because Jake got a short attention span. But just going into back into the lesson about the kingdom of heaven should be on earth. Just a couple of points I want to make. And just to prove the point a little further, because these wacky-tacky Christians, you know, they got a thing that they feel like the kingdom of heaven is going to be in the spiritual realm or in that fourth dimension or whatever dimension that Yahweh sits on his throne, right? But like the scriptures I brought out in the first lesson prove to you that the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, man. So I ain't going to make this too long, just a couple of precepts to further prove the point. Because as the Lord say, we must defend this gospel, man. Right? 1 Thessalonians 5:21, what it say? Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good, man. Which is just sound doctrine, right? So when you read 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, and this is what the wacky Christians, this is what they use to say the kingdom of heaven is going to be in the spiritual realm. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, we start at 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of power, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. This is the point they use. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Which is true. This is what they use to say we're going to go into the heavens. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. What is that talking about, man? It said to be caught up in the clouds, talking about in the chariots, man. It ain't talking about going to the spiritual realm. And see, that's the problem with these wacky Christians, man. They don't understand these scriptures, okay? Because they have been deceived by these pastors, man. Right? So it say to be caught up in the clouds. When is the elect of Israel is going to get caught up in the clouds? When? When the Lord calls the elect into the chariots, man. Let's read it. Now, 1 Thessalonians 4:17 says again. Matter of fact, read 16. For the Lord Yahweh Shai himself will descend from heaven with a shout, right? With the voice of the archangel and with the trump of power, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with him in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Now it said he shall shout, right, with the voice of the archangel. This Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven that shouted like an archangel, right? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud. Now, what cloud? You got to prove it, man. This is Psalms 104, in verse 3, and it reads, who left the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Who is that talking about? Let's read verse 1, Psalm 104 and 1. Bless the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, O my soul, O Lord Yahweh, my power. Thou art very great, thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Right? So when you jump down to verse 3 again, who layeth the beam of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots. Who make the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So when you go back to Revelation 11 and 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, that great voice was what? Yahushua, what? Matter of fact, let me read again. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel. Okay? Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Okay? In a chariot, man. Let's further prove that. Hey, from the Old to the New Testament, man. This is Isaiah 26 and 20. And it reads, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. What indignation? When you go back to Revelation, right? 11. You go back to Revelation 11 and 12. After they enter into the chariots, right? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, which is a complete number. It's going to be way more than 7,000 men getting slain. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to power of heaven. The second war is past, behold, the third war coming quickly, right? And it tell you that the third part of men was slain, okay? So, understanding that the indignation be overpassed is what? Right here. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, which is all of North America. And then the earthquake was slain 7,000 men. So, and it said the second war was past, and behold, the third war coming quickly. So the ending, they said again, Isaiah 26 and 20, come my people, enter into thy chambers, and shut the doors about thee. Hide thyself everywhere for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. What's the indignation? The righteous anger of the Lord be overpassed. What is that? The destruction with the missiles, okay? With them intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? That's going to be the indignation of the Lord, man. So, as it tell you in 1 Peter's, let me read it real quick. 1 Peter's 4 and 17, and it reads, for the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of power, and if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So understanding this, that the righteous is going to scarcely be saved, right? From what? From the indignation of the Lord, man. Which is destruction with the missiles, man. Okay? This is Malachi 4 and 1. Right? Malachi 4:1. I'm going to read that. And this is what it reads. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. All the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day cometh that shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Right? So understanding how the Lord worked, man. Right? So when they say that, when we're gonna be with the Lord in the air, that's not talking about going to the spiritual realm, man. That's talking about going into a chariot until the end nation overpass, right? Until the destruction of the earth be done away with. Then the Lord is going to beam us back down, man. The elect, Lord willing, is going to beam us back down on the earth, man. Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they still upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away while in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Okay? That's the point. Because the earth is going to be destroyed by fire, man. So understanding what the Lord was talking about in 1 Thessalonians 4, when it said we was caught up with the Lord in the air, okay? We was caught up in a cloud. That's not talking about going to the spiritual realm, man. That's talking about getting caught up in a chariot, man, until the destruction finished the earth, man. Until the Lord finished the earth with destruction. And then you're going to get beamed back down, man. That's all it's talking about. It's simple, man. This is not rocket science. But to the pure, all things are pure, man. So understanding, matter of fact, 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in that which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works thereof therein shall be burnt up. Okay? Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are ye ought to be in our holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasten until the coming of the day of power, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the earth, the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for a new heaven and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. So if that's possible, we're looking for a new heaven and a new earth. How the hell are we going to be in the spiritual realm if we are looking for a new earth to be here, man? Okay, John said he saw a new heaven and a new earth coming down. He saw a new earth coming down, man. What is that talking about? That ain't talking about being in the spiritual realm, man. Okay, like I read to you, Revelation 5:9, man. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to close on this. I just want to make the point because these wacky-tacky Christians love to use 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, talking about we're going to get caught up in the clouds and we're going to be in the spiritual realm. No, man. That's talking about getting caught up into a chariot until the destruction finished on the earth, man. Revelation 5:9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seal thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to power by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and had made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. This ain't rocket science, man. Okay, this is simple, man. This is simple. So I just want to go into that point because my lesson had got a little long, and Jake got a short attention span on their mind, man. Right? So just proving the point, man, Thessalonians, that getting caught up with the Lord in the air, man. That's not talking about going into the spiritual realm, man. That's talking about going into a chariot until the indignation be overpassed on the earth, man. And then we're going to get beamed back down. And that's when we're going to take these devils out of their bunkers and all the other hidden places, man, and bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. Okay? And you devils are going to start rebuilding the kingdom right away, man. And so with that, because give our praise to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Red Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and essential salutation to all the Akim pushing the truth, for the four winds of the earth, we know the hope for the elect. Shalom to the Akwa for our listening and learning. Hey, matter of fact, let me close with this. This is Acts. Let me read this one more time. I read this in my first lesson. This is Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord Yahushua, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Kingdom of heaven gonna be on earth. Shalom.